Thank you, Ms. Green. Thank you to the East Rutherford PTA for inviting us this evening to present some information on the exciting 2024 referendum. We did host our first ever webinar last week, I believe it was, on the full referendum, and it went really well. It was really detailed. I have to admit it was about an hour long, so we are not going to do that tonight. If you want to see the full version, especially since you've already presented, by the way, I'm very impressed with everybody's presentations tonight. It sounds like there's some wonderful things happening at the local K-8 for our junior Wildcats, and we look forward to continuing that as they enter high school in the next few years, depending where they are in their elementary and middle school careers. So good to hear some wonderful stuff happening at our local East Rutherford community. So some of you that don't know, you can see a visual image of the referendum here. As I said, the longer version of tonight's presentation can be found on our website, bectonevolution.com. It's already up there. We're going to kind of breeze through this version today and talk to you a little bit about where we were 2 years ago, where we are, and where we're going. I guess I should start off by saying, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Sforza, and I'm the proud superintendent here at Becton Regional High School. I am going on my 11th year here, and it's been a truly transformational experience for me, for the students of Becton, and for the larger school community, especially the past 5 years. The 4 years with the merger with the third school district has been extremely impactful for our entire community because of the exponential growth that we have seen in nearly every single category of our organization. I'll just give you a quick off the top of my head. Our advanced placement offerings have went from 15 to they're going to be at over 35 next year. We've added special education programming. Our sports have just simply exploded in every category, included last weekend when we won medals and first place awards in some of our newest sports, and in so many that we can't even keep up with anymore. And that's contrary to what we saw 4 years ago before the merger, where some of the sports programs were on the verge of extinction because of the amount of students that we had in the school. So now that we have nearly double amount of students than before, we're able to offer so much more. National Honor Society is up by 200%. Our dual enrollment program is growing. So now it's, an opportunity to say, where can we go from here? For those of you that don't know me, I've always been an advocate of building opportunities and programs for all levels of learners. And that's a continued vision and goal of ours here at Becton as we created this wonderful high school here for our local 3 communities. So the agenda tonight, similar to the other evening, just talk a little bit about the initial scope of the project, which continues to be based off of our vision, which is always rooted in our deep Wildcat traditions, East Rutherford being our junior Wildcats, which you continue to be a part of that, to provide, and this is important, an all-inclusive, adaptive, and innovative experience that meets the needs and interests of all current and future students. So Becton is a unique place in that we educate all students, no matter what their disability background is. And we want to be able to continue that in an all-inclusive setting. To bring home is another vision of ours. The hundreds of students that go out of district school settings. Those of you that may or may not know, depending on a student's disability, we may not be able to service them here at Becton. And from the human aspect, we want them to at least be able to have the opportunity to choose their hometown high school and do it in a very unique way, with unique programs. In some cases, we're not able to do that, and there's also a significant financial component to that impacts our budget, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. And then, of course, to inspire our student body to continue to be educated in state-of-the-art facilities with individualized advanced STEM programs, vocational and trades offerings, and special education offerings. Becton, compared to other high schools, is a fairly good-looking high school because of the sad situation that happened a little bit over 50 years ago, where their high school, which used to be a part of our school, did get a catch on fire. And then, of course, this beautiful high school was built. So compared to some of the older 100-year-old architectural high schools, it's fairly new, but there's always room for growth. The innovators and the visionaries of the past designed the high school for the opportunity to grow. So we're going to continue to be able to do that. Those of you who don't know and that are new to this, we did go out for a similar referendum on this project 2 years ago, and it was over $55 million. It was actually hovering in the 57 million. We received about 2 million in state aid, so that's why you see the $55.6 million price tag there. That price tag was to be split between the communities, but it did include the STEM, the vocations and trades, the visual and performing and culinary arts. It included 90,000 square feet, 3 floors, renovations to auxiliary buildings, dining halls, rooftop sensory garden, therapy rooms, and as I said, the STEM and the vocations program. So the goal was, this referendum did get voted down by East Rutherford and Carlstadt voters 2 years ago. And the goal was to go back to the drawing board and see what went wrong, what went right, and what we can do to be able to offer the community another opportunity, especially for our young students. I use this example a couple times, and it's pretty special to me because when I arrived at Becton almost 11 years ago, we got right to work. We rolled up our sleeves and we said we wanted to start building programs for students so that they can have the experience that other students get in other high schools. Never really, we did it just because it was automatic to us. We love education. We love seeing students thrive, but we didn't really think about, hey, I wonder what the students in 10 years are going to say or benefit from. And last year at our graduation, I had the opportunity to talk to our students about where they were in 3rd grade, because about 10, 11 years before that, they were just in grade school, and we were here building programs for them. And I want to emphasize the importance of that, because a lot of you that are here today are parents to grade school students, and including myself. I have 3 young children, and sometimes we don't think, as far ahead as we should, because we're focused at the task at hand, in addition to all the sports activities and all that lovely grade school math homework that we're helping our kids with. But it's important to look ahead, because that's the amount of time that it takes to build these programs, and that's what we're doing here. But we wanted some community feedback because we knew we couldn't go out with the same referendum project. So the first thing we did was we had a numerous amount of closed door meetings, open door meetings with key community stakeholders, inclusive of mayors, council members, local boards of education members, dozens of professionals, financial advisors, architects, local administrators, bond attorneys, some of your administrators that are on tonight. And the purpose of the meeting was for these community leaders to be able to give us some objective feedback and constructive criticism on what they would like to see if we were to go back out for a second referendum. And what guided that feedback was some of the surveys that we sent out to our local communities. We sent out a survey to all of our community members and all in the Carlstadt, East Rutherford, and Maywood back in March. And you can see here the results of the survey, which was pretty impressive. There was multiple questions, but one of the questions asked community members to rate the programs from most to least important to them. And 32% of the community members wanted to see a building that included the advanced STEM. 24% right behind STEM wanted to see a continuation or bringing back vocations and trades, hands-on programs that pay really well, but have been extinct from public schools because of a variety of different reasons throughout the years. Right behind that, an important emphasis on special education programs, and then visual and performing arts, and the gym, the second auxiliary gym, although useful, it came least important to parents within that survey. The interesting thing about this community survey, or I should say the middle school survey, is that it mimicked what the parents and the community members were also seeing. What we did this time was we also went to the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders last year, and we talked to them about the 16 career clusters. And as you can see here, 3 out of the top 4 were in the STEM fields and 1 in the vocation and trades for our middle school students. So directly aligned and correlated with what our parents wanted to see. We use these surveys along with the multiple meetings and community input and information sessions to be able to design what the next revised project scope was going to look like. And I have to admit, it was certainly difficult because the original project with respect to programs, facilities, and also the look was very attractive to community members. So we had, at times we had well over 30, 35 people, community leaders in the room, some which may have not supported the first referendum, and nobody wanted to see, any parts cut. So we had to get a little creative with them and say, look, we can't necessarily go out with the same project because the voters spoke clearly about the size of that project and wanted to see it cut back. So the goal was to reduce the square footage of the original project. That was going to be one of the only ways that we were going to be able to scale back the financial component of it, but to keep the STEM, the advanced STEM and medical sciences program, keep a portion of the vocational and trades program, with also an option for a full program, and keep the full special education program. And that's what we did here with the scope of the revised project, which we're going to go through a little bit today. I do want to emphasize the importance of bringing back or keeping, at the very least, some of our special education students. For those of you who don't know, Becton alone spends over $3 million a year in sending students out of district. Maywood high school students, we do not pay for Maywood high school special education students. They also spend over $3 million a year on those students. So that's well over $6 million a year that's going to out of district students that we would love to bring back some, even in a very conservative way, some of those funds so that it could benefit all of our 800 and nearly 50 students here at Becton Regional High School if we have the opportunity to do so. So at this time, I'm going to ask if you could unmute Jerry Rubino. Some of you may remember that name because the Cara Rubino was the original architect for the East Rutherford project. He's on the call. I believe he's under the name, it may just say Jerry. So Jerry, if you're on, if you could just ask to be unmuted there. And then also Jasenia Khan, she may be on under J Khan. If we could just unmute.
You will need to unmute them because I don't have that permission anymore.
Okay.
I gave you sharing ability.
I have the power now.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Let's just see so many people on here. Okay, Jerry or Valdemar, if you're on, I see Miss Khan is unmuted. And let me just see here.
They should also be able to unmute themselves, Dr. Sforza.
Okay, so I'll just continue because I don't see them I don't see them on right now. Well,
I'm here, and I can unmute myself, Dr. Sforza.
Okay, so our business administrator, Jasenia Khan, is on. I'll just go right into it to not waste everybody's time. What you see in front of you here is the first question. So what we did with the $49 million option is we did break it up even more than the original proposed project. So from the $55.6 million, we came down to $42 million. But then the committee and the parents wanted to make sure that if we went back out for a referendum, that any existing facility upgrades were included in that. And we'll talk a little bit about what that looks like later on. But then when we compiled all that, that came out to 49 million. And we still felt as a board that that may be a little bit too much for some taxpayers or for some voters. And we feel strongly about the proposal that we put together. So this time around, we are giving taxpayers and residents a 3-question option, with question 2 and 3 reliant on question 1. So question 1, as you see in front of you, is the photograph. The rendering that you see in front is one of the most important questions. That is the question that includes the full advanced STEM program, the full special ed program, and also includes a portion of the vocational and trades program in that yellow highlighted area, also seen in the photograph to the left. It includes a nurse's suite, teacher's lounge, renovations to the board office, and special ed suite, as I said. This is this is the addition that will also enable us to bring back some additional revenue that we hope to realize and that we hope to put back into the school building as we go through the project. So I'm gonna save this part for the longer version. It's just a schematic and renderings of the different technology and vocational labs and science labs and special education classrooms. If you want to log onto there, onto the longer version, what you see here are some renderings of the science labs, the STEM labs, and some vocational and trades labs that we would find in the new building. Question 2 is 12.8 million. I do want to add that each one of these questions, when we talk about the full price of the question, that is divided accordingly between the 2 municipalities. So the first question is in the, depending on the percentage that it's divided up with, you're looking at anywhere for East Rutherford, $14.5 million for question 1. Question 2 is at $12.8 million for the total question. So if you deduct the 3.2 million, you're in the $9 million range divided by the 2 communities. East Rutherford's portion for question 2 would be in the $4 million range. For East Rutherford, for $4 million, you would get a brand new regulation size gym. And also you see the purple area where it says existing high school. That is the $6.6 million worth of renovations. The renovations include we have an absolutely beautiful gym, but the gym floor does need to be renovated. There's bubbles in the gym floor. The bleachers need to be updated. We have a beautiful performing arts center, but the seating in the performing arts center does need to be upgraded. The stage needs to be upgraded, as well as all of our bathrooms in our building. So we want to make sure with question 2, if that's voted on as well, that we upgrade some of those facilities. Now, the good thing about question 2 is if we pass the capital projects, such as the bathrooms, the locker rooms, the gym floor, and the auditorium stage and the auditorium seating, all that capital money that we would normally spend on renovating these existing areas within the next 10 or 15 years will come back to us in the budget. So we're basically spending that money up front, and we will be able to use those funds for different projects or also for different staffing. And these are just some of the areas. Another rendering of the regulation size gym. This gym is, as we said, regulation size for league competitions, and the seating, I believe, is in the 120 student, staff, and guest seating in this gymnasium here. The pink areas are just some of the renovations to the existing building. So these are just some photographs of what some new seating in the Performing Arts Center could look like. To the left, you can see that teal seating. The seats there are falling apart. The Performing Arts Center is beautiful, oversized. We use it for a lot of different things, including for East Rutherford, but it does need to be upgraded. Our locker rooms and our bathrooms are also two areas that, you know, the past 55 years have just seen some wear and tear. It would be nice for us to be able to upgrade that for our students. And then this is question 3. Question 3 is a $7 million option, and that's the annex building across the street to our high school. It's the corner, right now it's a large white warehouse that the Board of Education is acquiring. And that building would be the full vocational and trades center if we wanted to bring that back here at Becton on a very larger scale, where students would be able to graduate with industry level experiences. The goal for all 3 questions is not for a student to be for a student to select one subject area or one major or one program and stay in that program for all 4 years. We want to provide them with a slightly different approach than the academies or the techs or some of the other private schools, and we want to give them opportunities to learn multiple different programs throughout their high school career. But if there is one track that they are interested in, then we will invest in that track and make sure that that student gets a little bit additional experience, like we're doing right now with our certified culinary program. So that is the opportunity for our students will have the next couple of years. All 3 questions, as we said, come out to $49.3 million. First question, the most important question, 29.5 for East Rutherford. It's approximately half of that, in the $14.5 million range. Second question, we do get about $3 million in state aid. So for East Rutherford, it would be half of the 9 and change. So a little bit over $4.5 million for East Rutherford. And then the third question, we do not get state aid, and that's at $7 million. So for East Rutherford, the third question would be about $3.5 million. The total square footage off the total project, we cut about 22,000 square feet from the original project. But if voters just select question 1, as you can see, question 1, we cut the project in nearly half. So that is about a 45,000 square foot reduction from the original project, and also a nearly 50% reduction in cost. This would be, and I've been in high school business a very long time. I started off as a science teacher. This would be one of the most advanced high school facilities in certainly in northern New Jersey, and possibly even in the Northeast, with the type of programmatic components that we're including in it. This is not just we're not just building a one type of program. We're looking to bring in very unique programs that every student can have an opportunity to dabble in and to be able to get experience with, so that they can go to college or enter a career that they're passionate about. We often talk about not creating kippers here at the high school. Kipper is a kid's and parents' pockets eroding their retirement savings. So, our goal is to create students that go off to college, that become independent, whether it's in their career trade or whether it's a field in college or even the military, if they make that honorable decision. But we want to be able to provide them with those skills early on in high school. So at this point, I'm going to pass it over quickly to Ms. Khan, our business administrator, who's going to talk about the estimated tax impact and bond proposal questions to our community. Ms. Khan?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Sforza. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Jasenia Khan, and I've been the business administrator for the Carlstadt East Rutherford Regional Board of Ed, Becton Regional, for about a year now. And I'm here to present to you the estimated tax impact that this bond referendum represents. So question number 1, what does that mean to your bottom line? So the question number 1, just like Dr. Sforza said before, is for STEM, special education and vocational space, at a price tag of about $29.4 million. And that what that means to your bottom line is an average of $12 a month, or 3 cents for every $100 of assessed valuation. So if you go to the property tax statement that you get from your town and you get what your assessed valuation, remember, an assessed valuation does not equal the market value of your home. So always refer back to the certified assessed valuation of your property independently from whatever is worth in the market. And you take for every $100 of that assessed valuation is 3 cents of that. And that for the average home in each of the municipalities, that would be $12 a month. But we're going to offer everyone a calculator so that you know the exact impact for your specified specific assessed valuation. Okay, next slide.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So question number 2, that question is valued at 12.7 million. But the good news with respect to this question is that this question is eligible for $3.2 million in state aid. So a $12.7 million question number 2 project that involves safety, school safety and facility enhancements, such as the ones that Dr. Sforza described before, we get it at a value of at a price tag of $9.5 million. What does that represent to your bottom line? Question number 2, it's an average of $6 per month, or 1 cent, 1 penny for every $100 of your property's assessed valuation. Okay, any questions about this? Happens to be my my favorite question, but unfortunately we have to pass question number 1 in order to be able to pass question number 2 or question number 3. Question number 3, that has to do with the expansion of the trades, you know, the building that we have across the street, and the vocational programs that Dr. Sforza described before, and that comes at a price tag of about $7 million. And the tax impact, the estimated tax impact for question number 3 is $3 a month, or 1 penny for every $100 of assessed valuation. So again, these are very important 3 questions, and question number 1 must pass in order for questions 2 or 3 to be considered. Okay. Do we have another slide for this? Okay, and this is actually a piece of great news that would impact our seniors, the senior citizens on a fixed income in our communities. Please know that thanks to the senior citizen tax-free program offered by the state of New Jersey, eligible seniors can fill out an application that freezes their property taxes at the base year when they first become eligible for this program. So any increases in property taxes that may arise as a result of us passing the referendum, though that increase would be automatically refunded to seniors who apply for this program. We would like to offer seniors more information about this. You know, when I found out about this program for my mother is one of the beneficiaries, and she loves getting that refund check for her property taxes every year. And she's been getting it for quite a few years now, and that makes her very happy and provides great relief. So we want to make sure that the entire community of Carlstadt and East Rutherford knows about this, because that means that senior citizens making up to $150,000 in any earnings that they may get as a result of retirement are eligible for this program. So we would like to offer you more. Please pay attention to the web address on the screen, but we are going to send out more information as to how you can benefit from this program.
Thank you, Ms. Khan. So basically what you're saying is that if a senior citizen above the age of 65 qualifies for this, their taxes with respect to this referendum will be reimbursed for them. So technically, it'll be a net zero increase for them if they qualify and get this reimbursement. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
So as Ms. Khan said, we were a little bit surprised to find out that not many senior citizens know about this. So if you have family, friends, or loved ones, this is on our website. And we are also looking just to give back to the community, whether it's for the referendum or something else, and hosting a potential Saturday session here for our senior citizens where we help them because unfortunately, as Ms. Khan said, her mother has taken advantage of this. A lot of our senior citizens may have trouble navigating the website that could be cumbersome with this type of information out there for them. But we would love to, open up our facilities and host a potential session for our senior citizens. So if you would like for that to happen, reach out to us and we'll tell you how to do that. So as you can see, we breezed by this presentation. The senior citizens tax freeze is now law. I do see some question that the application process in some of the Q&A. There's information on our website on how to register for that. We are going to have a Q&A session as well on our website as more questions come in. As far as social media, right now we are on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram for some updates. Our website is also up, bectonevolution.com, and you could also follow us on Twitter to get some additional information. The vote is March 12th this year. As we said at our last Board of Education meeting, one of the things that we realized from the first go around with this is we here at Becton design the program, we design the scope of the project, but unfortunately we don't have, as the individuals in charge of designing this, we don't have the opportunity to vote on the project. And we can't want this more than the young parents want it. So if the K-8 parents would like to see this at their high school, once their children get here at the high school, then certainly they would have to vote on the project. And as I said, what we've realized for the first time around is a lot of the K-8 parents did not come out to register and they did not come out to vote, which in turn potentially caused that project the first time to go down. This time we certainly changed it. We created a what we feel is a fiscally responsible project. We didn't include there's no additional bells and whistles, not that we feel that there were the first time around. And we're coming out with something that's a little bit more feasible for our community, but still keeping the programmatic components of creating one of the most advanced high schools in northern New Jersey. If you have any information or would like to help us out in any way, please contact us at communications@bectonhs.org. We thank the many people that already reached out to us, but certainly we welcome any additional help. And as we said, this project is realistically directly for you as parents at the K-8 and your children. So thank you very much for inviting us to this meeting and for allowing us to speak this evening. Any additional information, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Ms. Green, I'm gonna stop the share at this point, and we do have, or actually I can keep it up there for a little bit if there's some time for Q&A. I'm not sure there's.
Yeah, no. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Sforza? Thank you so much, Dr. Sforza.
Thank you for inviting us. And we do have some additional in-person sessions that are coming up. Just check our website for those in-person sessions where people will be able to speak directly to the experts. We have our bond attorney on the call right now. We also have our architect on the call, business administrator, some trustees. So if you have any questions for any of us now, we'll take them now, but we'll also take them, via email or at any one of our upcoming in-person forums.
I did have a quick question for you, Dr. Sforza, before I forget. I have a sixth grader right now, so I'll be joining you pretty soon, like in the next 2 years. When is the anticipated completion of the construction and everything with this referendum, if it does pass?
Excellent question. Mr. Rubino, would you like to
Yes.
answer?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we finally got unmuted. If the referendum does pass in March of 2024, the project will go out to bid December of 24. Construction will start in March 2025, and the additions should be completed by September 2026. If question number 2 passes, those renovations that are outlined in question number 2 will be done during the summer of 25 and in the summer of 26.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Ms. Green.
Yes, thank you. That's perfect because he'll be starting around September 2026 as a freshman.
Mhm.
So thank you.
Yeah, so some students will realize all 4 years, some students will realize 3 years of this, 2 years of this, and then 1 year. And even for our high school parents, as I said earlier, it's important to just give back and look back, the same way that we did 10 years ago when we started building programs here for their children. Any other questions?
There is a question in chat from asking how much will Maywood pay toward the referendums?
So one of the big components during the first time around, and just to speak candidly, was the rumor that was going around on what happens if Maywood leaves. And then East Rutherford and Carlstadt would be on the hook for the financial burden. Maywood was significantly contributing the first go around directly to the project. Since then, obviously, a lot has changed, and that project was its own project. Maywood went out for their own referendum, and that's also 2 years in the making. So we removed Maywood from the equation because the mortgage, if you will, would be as residents and voters stated 2 years ago, would be on Carlstadt and East Rutherford only. So if the removing them from the equation kind of squash that rumor of what happens if Maywood leaves. So what you see in front of you, the numbers that you see in front of you are being paid directly between the municipalities of Carlstadt and East Rutherford. Maywood has agreed that if the referendum goes through, at the very least, question 1, Maywood is under a 10-year send-receive contract, and we are in year 4 of that contract. They have agreed to adjust their tuition if question 1 goes through. So they pay us tuition per child here at Becton. If the referendum goes through, at the very least, question 1, they have agreed to adjust their tuition per child to come here at Becton. Thank you for that question. Okay. I think I have to make you the host, Miss Green, right? Okay, there you go.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You have lost the power, unfortunately, Dr. Sforza.
No problem.
Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, thank you who stayed for the presentation. Please remember to go out and vote on March 12th. And any questions, please reach out to Dr. Sforza at Becton. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.